Central Night Shelter is a ministry of hospitality and healing to homeless men in downtown Atlanta. We take between 90 and 100 men a night during the winter months of November 1st through March 31st. It's been a very, I think, a really interesting collaboration with the Presbyterians and the Catholics, and you know, it started here at Central Pres, and then my husband and I are Catholic members of the Catholic Shrine of the Immaculate Conception, and we approached the pastor at that time, Father John Adamski, about expanding. He said no the first few times we asked, but he eventually said yes. And so we opened up at the shrine. Central Night Shelter is a nonprofit in its own right, but both churches donate the space. Both congregations give tremendous support to the shelter. I think it's been a great thing for both congregations, and it's been a real blessing for our family because I feel like, you know, we have two faith communities. What makes us completely unique is that we are an all-volunteer organization, so we have no paid staff at all. All of us who work at Central Night Shelter are called here through either our faith or our feelings about social justice and mercy. It's really life-changing for the volunteers as well as for the guests. I think that it doesn't seem like we would come here to find people to look up to, but yet that's what happens. My husband has often said that it's more of a ministry to the volunteers than it is to the guests. And I've seen that in so many cases where volunteers have come back and told me that it has really changed their lives. You know, people are here because they want to be here, because they think it's the right thing to do, because, you know, they believe in being here. And so they come with open hearts and with unconditional love, and that's the difference. We might not have the nicest facility in town, but we've got the greatest facility in town. The foot clinic and the medical clinic have been going on practically since the beginning of the shelter, and there's one crew of people who are medical professionals who volunteer their time, who come and they actually see patients. We have a couple of examining rooms and they're able to see patients, and you know, they can't do a lot, but we can make referrals to Mercy Care. We can give them over-the-counter stuff. And then we have a team of foot care people who are lay people who are actually trained to do foot care. It's basically like getting a pedicure. I mean, it's just a really happy night at the shelter because they get their feet done, and you know, they're sitting there with their foot in their lap of, you know, a volunteer, and they're chatting, and you know, it's a real personal connection. You know, we've also tried to add some programs. You saw the basketball program this afternoon, which is very fun, and we just joined a league and we're going to be out in the community, so that's kind of exciting for the guys. We also started art therapy this year on Mondays. For the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, we've had a yoga class on Sunday nights, which the guys love. We usually get about 20, 25 guys that come to the yoga class. And the choir, which has been phenomenally successful. And they sang at the White House this past December. Once the men come in at 7:15, we serve dinner right away. Then after dinner, there's a crew of guys that are called the cleanup crew, and they help set up as well, but they also break everything down and clean everything up and get all the mats put out for the guys and kind of take a leadership role in the shelter. All of those skills can translate into some of the life skills they need to be successful in getting off the street. There's a tremendous isolation in poverty, a tremendous loneliness. If you're homeless, you're walking the streets and people don't even see you, or they try to avoid you because they're frightened. And so to come here and be so accepted and have people bring their children to serve, and to be able to have that sense of community where people know your name and know who you are and are glad to see you, brings a tremendous sense of belonging to the men. And you know, that just gives them a sense of hope. Almost every year something happens right before the shelter opens with some guy who's made it and comes back or finds us and tells the story of what happened, you know. So I always feel like it's kind of God's way of, you know, saying, all right, you guys, I need another year out of you.